The story begins when a passerby hears raised voices outside a building and notices a boy loudly criticizing a girl's outfit. He mocks her confidence, claiming that girls like her drive others away and that boys hate the way she dresses. Instead of feeling ashamed, the girl responds with a warm, unbothered smile, calmly saying she dresses for herself and doesn't care about his opinion. She even playfully points out his own clothes, teasing that as long as he feels confident, his outfit is fine too. Her relaxed attitude only fuels his frustration, and in a childish outburst, he opens a drink and throws it at her. The sudden splash shocks everyone around, especially when a stranger who had stepped forward is also hit. The boy panics when he meets the stranger's cold, angry gaze and immediately runs away. The girl quickly apologizes to the stranger, trying to wipe his face in a hurry, but he gently stops her, more concerned about her stained sleeves than his own shirt. Calmly, he helps clean her clothes, reassuring her that it's no big deal, and casually adds that her outfit is cute and shouldn't be ruined. His words catch her completely off guard, making her blush deeply, and in that moment, her heart flutters as she quietly falls for him. A week later, the girl, Emino Amano, a first-year high school student who loves cute fashion, returns to the same place, hoping to see the stranger again. After saving her and cleaning her clothes, he had walked away so quickly that she never got the chance to thank him, and the thought of that still lingers in her mind. As she searches the area without success, disappointment slowly settles in, and she turns to leave. Just then, the small charm on her bag slips and falls, but before it hits the ground, someone catches it and calls out to her. When she turns around, she is stunned to see the same stranger holding it. He recognizes her instantly, smiling as he calls her the girl with the cute outfit. Overwhelmed, she finally thanks him properly, and when she mentions how he saved her from a troublesome guy, he casually remembers and brushes it off. Gathering her courage, she asks what he thinks of her outfit, and when he honestly says it's cute, her face lights up with happiness. She excitedly explains how she designed it herself, admitting how much it meant to her that he cared enough to protect it. Before she can continue, he unexpectedly asks for a number, and she eagerly agrees, feeling energized and giddy the moment she gives it to him. Not long after, the two end up having lunch together, and Emino can't stop smiling as she clutches her small stuffed teddy bear without realizing it. When he asks if she's happy, she nods enthusiastically before apologizing in embarrassment for bringing the toy along. He simply taps the teddy bear and tells her it's fine, suggesting they go somewhere she likes. Seeing her joy makes him feel strangely happy as well, and though he feels a bit awkward, he senses a growing affection between them. When he asks if she truly loves cute things that much, she blushes and explains that cute things make people feel happy. He quietly thinks about her words and realizes that she herself proves that idea, quickly looking away in embarrassment when he catches himself staring too long. Later, they sit together in a cafe, where she introduces herself as 16-year-old Emi Amano, mentioning that she loves cooking. He introduces himself as Yusei and casually mentions that he doesn't really have hobbies. When she asks which high school he attends, he calmly sips his coffee and says that he doesn't study at all, leaving her briefly stunned. Noticing her reaction, he lowers his gaze and admits that he's bad at conversations, especially when it comes to talking about himself. She reassures him with a gentle smile, telling him it doesn't bother her, and continues chatting enthusiastically about clothes, accessories, and design she loves. When she realizes she might be asking too much, she quickly apologizes, saying she simply wants to know more about him but understands if he prefers not to share. She politely asks for permission to ask a few questions, and after a brief pause, he nods with a slightly suspicious yet charming smile, signaling his agreement. Seeing that smile fills her heart with warmth and happiness, and as they continue talking, a quiet and gentle bond begins to form between them. After they finish their meal, Emino reaches for her wallet, insisting on paying her share, but he immediately refuses. Even so, she bows slightly, treating the moment like a proper expression of gratitude rather than a simple argument over money. The cashier, quietly watching the exchange, smiles to herself, mistaking them for a couple and thinking how reliable he seems, already taking responsibility without hesitation. When he thanks the cashier for letting him spend a little money, she jokingly asks if he's secretly rich. He laughs it off, denying it with an air of mystery, and simply says that he wanted to pay because he genuinely enjoyed their time together. His words make Emino's face heat up, her cheeks flushing deeply as she looks at him, flustered by his honesty. Sensing her reaction, he bows slightly in apology, as if worried he said too much. Though she still finds him mysterious, they thank each other politely and step outside together. He walks beside her as they head toward the station, deciding on his own to accompany her part of the way. Even though she still knows very little about him, she can't help glancing at him with quiet affection. Before she can sort through her thoughts, a sudden strong wind rushes past them, making it difficult to walk. He asks if he can ask her something, and when she nods, he gently suggests meeting again at her favorite place. As she looks up at him, mesmerized, he reaches out and lightly touches her hair, expressing his wish to hear more about the things she loves. He steps closer, carefully fixing the strands blown out of place by the wind, and softly admits that being with her makes him feel at ease. Just as suddenly as it started, the wind dies down and the crowd begins moving again. Realizing what he's done, he immediately apologizes for touching her hair without permission, but Emino can't respond. Her face turns completely red as she stands frozen, overwhelmed by the feelings swelling inside her. As she walks away, memories from earlier that day resurface. She remembers teasing him in the cafe, bluntly asking if he was naturally clueless. When he asked if she meant about love, she had quickly denied it, explaining that he seemed clueless about everything, not just romance. She recalls how he stared at the menu afterward, clearly embarrassed, unable to respond properly, and the memory makes her smile softly. She remembers pointing out the cafe's fairy-themed drink names and how he struggled to understand words like cute, which made her laugh so hard she burst into giggles. Even now, thinking about his completely confused expression makes her heart feel warm. Later, alone in her room, Emino squeezes her stuffed heart tightly as she replays everything that happened. She remembers how she had almost confessed her feelings to him earlier, only to panic and backtrack, claiming she simply liked talking to him. The awkwardness of it all makes her hide her face in embarrassment as she scolds herself for saying something so foolish. She worries that he might think she's strange or immature, but when she remembers how he calmly waved goodbye with that gentle, composed smile, her heart aches even more. Lying on her bed, she presses the stuffed heart against her chest, cheeks burning, quietly praying for help because she has no idea what she's supposed to do with these feelings. The next day, while eating with her friend, she nervously talks about him, only for her friend, Nagaru Kiora, to explode with excitement. Kiora immediately declares that he sounds like a prince, saving her and saying all the right things, and eagerly demands to know whether Emino plans to confess or start dating him. Emino, chewing on her fries, can only stare blankly, completely unsure how to answer. She admits that she doesn't fully understand her own feelings, only that this is the first time she's ever felt something like this. Kiora nods knowingly, reminding her that she's never seen Emino blush around boys before, only shout at them. Emino quickly defends herself, saying those boys were terrible people who mocked others for liking cute things. Then, with a shy blush, she admits that Yusei is different. Kiora calmly states the obvious, telling her that she's in love, while Emino remains seated, still trying to process it all. Suddenly, a notification sound rings out, and Emino excitedly grabs her phone, only to slump in disappointment when she realizes it isn't hers at all, but Kiora's. Kiora casually explains that Ryu Kwan has won another match. When Emino looks confused, Kiora tells her that he's a professional shogi player who became a top-ranked amateur the previous year and is constantly in the news. She adds that many girls even treat him like an idol, and shows Emino his photo. Before Emino can ask anything more, another notification chimes, cutting the moment short. This time, Emino doesn't react when she hears a notification, assuming it must be Nagaru's phone again. But when the sound comes once more, she glances down and freezes. It's her phone. Her eyes widen as she reads the message from Yusei, asking what time she would like to meet again. The moment sinks in, and then both girls erupt into excited squeals, immediately leaning in close as they begin planning every detail of the next meeting with breathless enthusiasm. When the day arrives, Emino shows up wearing a nurse-style outfit and rushes to apologize for being late. Yusei stops short the moment he sees her. The bright white outfit catches his attention instantly, leaving him momentarily stunned. Noticing his reaction, she shyly asks if it looks strange. He shakes his head without hesitation, admitting honestly that she looks cute no matter what she wears. Her face warms at his words, and she thanks him softly. When he politely asks if they may continue walking together, she agrees at once, then suddenly remembers Nagaru's advice about getting closer to understand her feelings. Gathering her courage, she blurts out that he doesn't need to be so formal with her since they're the same age, adding that his politeness sometimes makes it hard for her to talk, but only if he's comfortable changing that. At first, Yusei looks confused, but after a moment, he nods in agreement. The relief makes her smile instantly. She starts walking ahead, feeling lighter, but then feels a gentle tap on her shoulder, just a single finger. When she turns around, she sees him standing there, clearly trying to follow her request to be less formal. His gentle, slightly awkward smile hits her all at once, and her cheeks burn bright red as her heart begins racing uncontrollably. That smile alone feels more powerful than anything she expected, leaving her flustered and breathless. Excited, M&O pulls him along to browse clothes, eagerly suggesting different outfits for him to try. To her surprise, every outfit suits him incredibly well, almost as if he has a natural sense for fashion. Growing bolder, she decides to choose the next one herself, wanting to enjoy the moment with him. Holding up 2 more outfits, she steps closer and asks which one he prefers. Just then, Yusei lets out a small yawn. Startled and embarrassed, she quickly turns away, guilt flooding her chest. She realizes she's been having all the fun while he shows little interest in himself, even though he appreciates her effort. After putting the clothes back, she suggests taking a break and getting something to eat. To her surprise, Yusei suddenly starts explaining all the cafes in the building, listing the floors, describing the menus, and even recommending Sakuraji Cafe for its calm atmosphere and wide variety. M&O stares at him in amazement, assuming he must have been there many times before. He lowers his gaze, embarrassed, and admits that he simply memorized the floor guide. The realization leaves her stunned. She remembers casually suggesting the place once, yet he remembered everything. Noticing how drowsy he looks, she asks if he slept properly after memorizing it. Hesitating, he confesses that it didn't take long to remember, but he was too excited to meet her to sleep. His words make her face burn crimson, leaving her completely speechless. After the meal, his mood lifts even more, energized by the cupcakes and sweets. She teasingly asks if he likes sugary food that much, and he laughs, admitting that he could easily eat 3 times the sugar. Suddenly remembering something, M&O pulls out a neatly wrapped white dress shirt and hands it to him, calling it a thank-you gift for saving her earlier. She winks playfully, clearly proud of her choice. Seeing his confused reaction, she worries and asks if he doesn't like it. He immediately denies that, explaining awkwardly that he's never received a gift from a friend before and doesn't know how to respond. When she stiffens at the word friend, he grows embarrassed and hurriedly adds that someone once told him a person he enjoys spending time with is considered a friend. Understanding his meaning, her eyes light up with excitement and relief. Gently holding onto his sleeve, she asks if, as a friend, she can rely on him. He nods shyly, then hesitates before asking if she would like to meet again. She answers immediately, without even thinking. Though she still doesn't fully understand her feelings, her heart races every time she looks at him. Later that night, after returning home, she messages him about their next meeting place. When he mentions that he likes Japanese sweets, she finally decides on a traditional Japanese-style cafe. Once everything is settled, she smiles to herself, quietly admitting that she likes him more than anyone. Hugging her stuffed heart tightly, she replays all the cute moments she noticed about Yusei that day. Remembering how he said he had fun being with her, she hides her face against the plush, blushing deeply as her affection overflows. She almost told him that she liked being around him too, not just as an acquaintance, not just because of his friends, but the words stayed trapped in her chest. Before she could speak, the moment slipped away. Elsewhere, Ryukin stood quietly as his manager studied his new kimono with admiration. The manager suggested snapping a photo for social media, convinced it would attract attention. Ryukin dismissed the idea instantly, clearly irritated. Without a match to promote, he saw no value in it. But his manager wasn't finished. He showed Ryukin recent headlines, articles spreading rapidly across Japan, fans obsessing over Ryukin's favorite sweets, and growing curiosity about his private life. Despite the sudden popularity, Ryukin's expression didn't soften. Fame without purpose meant nothing to him. The next afternoon, at the cafe they had already agreed to meet at, she cautiously asked if he hated shopping for clothes. He denied it immediately. Relief washed over her. Still confused, she asked why he had seemed so distant during their last shopping trip. After a pause, he admitted that he normally ordered everything online. Then, unexpectedly, he confessed that shopping with her had been different. Watching her reactions, hearing her excitement, it had made the time enjoyable. His honesty caught her off guard. Her face heated up, and she struggled to hide her embarrassment. Winter arrived quietly. Emmy stepped out in an outfit that caught more than a few glances. One boy, clearly impressed, tried to approach her. Before he could say a word, USI appeared, firmly grabbing the boy's hands. Startled, The stranger fled without looking back. Yusei turned to Emmy, worried, asking if she was okay. Instead of answering, she pointed at his winter muffler, praising how cute it looked. He returned the compliment, admiring her outfit, and she blushed uncontrollably. 2 months had passed since they first met. Life had been busy, work, exams, part-time shifts. Still, they talked every day through messages, sharing photos of desserts, small stories, and moments that made them smile. Laughing, she said that even though they hadn't met face-to-face in weeks, technology made it feel like they never really parted. Yet as they stood together now, both admitted the truth. No message could compare to seeing each other in person. As the evening grew colder, she rubbed her hands together and realized how late it had become. With another shift waiting the next day, she sighed in disappointment. Yusei noticed and asked what was wrong. She explained how hard she had been working lately, even taking shifts at a maid cafe. Concerned, she asked if he was managing okay himself. He nodded, saying he'd been taking it easy when possible. While walking, a large poster caught her attention. Kudo Ryu had finally secured his first victory of the year. Though she barely understood the sport, the news made her smile as she remembered something else. Christmas was almost here. Curious, she asked Yusei about his plans. His blank expression said everything. Shocked, she explained Christmas traditions, desserts, decorations, gifts, Santa Claus. When he admitted he knew none of it, she flushed with excitement, determined to make his first Christmas unforgettable. Suddenly remembering her shift, she apologized and turned to leave. Hesitating, Yusei asked if he could visit her at work. Her eyes widened before lighting up with excitement. She agreed instantly, waving goodbye with a hopeful smile. Christmas evening arrived. At the maid cafe, she greeted him playfully, teasing him for being late. He apologized immediately, and she laughed, handing him a membership card and telling him to guard it carefully. She had already explained the cafe's theme and introduced herself by her work name. When he arrived, she even gave him a customer nickname. Watching him struggle to understand the rules, she found his seriousness unbearably cute. Feeling mischievous, she teased him again, asking him to act as formally as before. His shocked reaction made her laugh. When she checked if he was okay, he smiled brightly and said that simply being there with her made the place feel alive. His words left her stunned. She whispered that she felt the same, though he didn't hear her. She quickly told him about the cafe's Christmas board game event and returned to work. The cafe filled rapidly. Customers called for her name, asking for greetings and holiday wishes. She smiled through it all, though the crowd left her exhausted. Searching for Yusei, she spotted a co-worker serving him drinks. Relief came first, then guilt. He was smiling, clearly enjoying himself. As she returned to the kitchen, doubt crept in. Her co-worker was beautiful, charming, and clearly easy to talk to. Emmy told herself not to overthink. It was just work. Still, the jealousy lingered. She scolded herself silently, forcing a smile she didn't feel. The chef noticed her fatigue and gently pulled her aside, assigning her to wash dishes instead. She agreed, trying to focus. But when she glanced back and saw Yusei playing in the board game tournament with another girl, her chest tightened. He had refused earlier, saying he wasn't good at social interaction. Watching him now made her emotions twist. Then she remembered the prize. The winner would take a photo holding a maid's hand. Her thoughts spiraled. Just as she tried to calm herself, cheers erupted. Yusei had won. Called to the stage, he was asked which maid he wanted to choose for the photo. As he looked around, the noise faded. Faces blurred, until his eyes found hers. She doesn't want to hear what he's going to say. She's already convinced herself that the answer will only hurt. But the moment he softly calls her name, everything freezes. The noise fades, her worries disappear, and she finds herself staring at him, stunned by how calm she suddenly feels. They sit together on the stage as the staff announces a short delay due to a malfunctioning camera. Taking advantage of the pause, Emmy leans closer and quietly asks him why he joined the game after refusing so firmly earlier. He scratches his head, clearly nervous, and hesitates before answering. Sensing there's more, she urges him to explain properly. After a moment, he admits the truth. Seeing so many customers crowd around her, asking for photos and attention, made him feel uneasy. Hearing this makes her chest tighten. Still, she asks about what he said before, about being bad at social situations. This time, he smiles openly and says he's trying harder than usual because it's for someone he cares about. Those words echo in her mind. She remembers her earlier conversation with Nagaru, the confusion she felt about her emotions, and how she was told not to overthink things. Love only becomes love when you choose to acknowledge it. Looking at his flushed face now, feeling her heart race uncontrollably, Emmy finally accepts the truth. She's in love with him. Once the cafe closes, the staff gathers for a small after-party. Yusei feels slightly awkward joining them, but everyone welcomes him warmly. Lulu apologizes for accidentally breaking the camera earlier, while another coworker congratulates him for winning the game. Then the kitchen staff awkwardly announces that only leftovers remain. Embarrassed, Emmy glances at Yusei, but he brushes it off casually, clearly not bothered. Trying to lighten the mood, she asks what he'd like to drink, soda or juice. He jokingly asks for tea instead, admitting carbonated drinks aren't his thing. As she hands it to him, her face turns bright red. Somehow, even something so small makes him seem impossibly endearing to her. Overwhelmed by her own feelings, she hides her face with her hands, secretly thankful the photo never happened. There's no way she could have held his hand in front of everyone while feeling like this. The chef brings him some food, and as he eats, Emmy watches quietly, smiling to herself. Deep down, she hopes that one day she can hold his hand without feeling so nervous. Soon, the coworkers start bombarding him with questions: his age, his school, how he met Emmy. Seeing his confusion, she steps in immediately, shutting down the interrogation. When they tease her about being jealous, she denies it instantly and suggests playing a card game instead. She explains the rules, spreads the cards, and announces that whoever draws the king gets to decide tasks. Luck favors Yusei, and everyone reacts with amazement. He starts with simple commands, making faces, silly gestures. The room fills with laughter. Want to shift the focus? Emmy quickly draws a card herself, then another. Her heart nearly stops. The card's instruction is a kiss on the cheek. The room erupts in cheers while her mind spirals. Panicking, she worries about who might end up doing it. Her thoughts race, and she almost stops the game entirely, but fears that doing so would expose her feelings. Just then, Kia suggests skipping the task since they barely know each other. Relief floods her instantly. They reshuffle and draw again. Once more, she gets the king card. This time, the task is simple. Hold hands with number 0 for 1 minute. She relaxes until she realizes who number 0 is. Before she can react, Yusei gently reaches for her hand. Blushing furiously, she places her hand in his as the others tease them, calling it romantic. He tightens his grip slightly, looks in her eyes, and quietly asks if she's okay. Her heart pounds so loudly she's sure everyone can hear it. They sit there, fingers intertwined, locked in each other's gaze. Later that night at the station, Emmy calls out to him as they hurry to catch the last train. Finally on board, she exhales in relief. Watching him loosen his muffler, untie his hair, and clean his fog glasses, she notices how different he looks. Less composed, more real. Feeling guilty, she apologizes for making him rush instead of taking a taxi, like everyone else. He denies it gently and admits he wanted to go home with her alone. The confession leaves her speechless. He hands her a small gift, explaining he didn't want to give it in front of everyone. She remembers their earlier agreement about cheap Christmas gifts and excitedly reaches into her bag, only to freeze. She forgot her gift in her locker. Shame crashes over her. She bows repeatedly, apologizing for being careless and selfish, convinced she ruined his Christmas. But instead of disappointment, he thanks her. He tells her how earlier that day, he saw a child smiling at something simple and didn't understand it. But after spending Christmas with her coworkers, and the cafe event, he finally does. He had fun because of her. Her face burns red as she looks away, overwhelmed by emotion. She remembers how hard it was choosing his gift, how she wanted to buy sweets but didn't know enough about him yet, how she cried after bumping her nose while ordering, frustrated that she didn't understand him better. She silently promises herself to give him the perfect gift next year. Turning to him, she realizes he's fallen asleep on the train. Guilt washes over her again. Feeling like she dragged him through too much, her grip loosens, and the gift slips from her hands. Emmy bends down quickly to grab the gift, but it slips from her hands. She freezes, captivated by the small bow, sparkling with a crystal at its center. It's utterly adorable and clearly chosen with care, matching her tastes perfectly. Looking at his sleepy, innocent face, her heart softens, and she quietly decides she'll work harder next year to return the favor with an even more thoughtful gift. She wants to understand him better, to learn everything she can about him. In the taxi, her coworkers chatter anxiously, wondering if Mighton managed to catch the train on time. Emmy checks her phone, lost in thought. She notices similarities between herself and USI, a mix of cheerful charm with a calm, composed presence. At school, she maintains that balance flawlessly, polite, diligent, and quietly elegant. Even when a classmate invites her to yakiniku on a Saturday, she declines gracefully, citing urgent work. Even when pressed, she politely refuses, thanking them for the offer. Back in her group, those who notice her absence shrug. It's clear why no one pressures her to join. Her quiet charm and excellent grades give her a presence that naturally keeps others at a distance, yet draws admiration. During a break, Emi shares the invitation story with Nagaru, confessing her longing to go out. When Nagaru asks why she refuses, Emi explains her fear. Stepping out of her composed image could draw unwanted attention, whispers, and rumors, distractions that might jeopardize her studies. Nagaru suggests keeping silent, but Emi laughs nervously, insisting that she could never stay quiet, not even for a moment. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted by Naki Run, their homeroom teacher and student counselor, who chuckles at the hardships of being an exemplary student. Both girls greet her excitedly. Rin casually sips from a bottle of water, except Emi notices it's actually Mandarin cider in a shiny aluminum cap. Despite being 41, Rin's playful personality and small joke leave a strong impression on both girls. Emi thinks about USI in that moment, wondering how even seemingly airheaded people can be endearing, and Nagaru teases her, guessing exactly who she's thinking about. Emi flushes at the thought. Then, with a knowing smile, the teacher turns to Nagaru and teasingly brings up Emi's secret crush. Emi freezes, cheeks burning. Rin sits comfortably and gently asks her about this boy. Her mind floods with images of him, serious yet sometimes awkward, with a rare, fleeting smile just for her. Emi's blush deepens as she imagines him. The teacher smiles knowingly, appreciating the innocence and wonder of first love. Emi wonders if she'll get the usual focus on your studies lecture, but Rin surprises her, saying that love can be a powerful force, sometimes stronger than logic or effort. Whether it's human connection or precious experiences, the heart can create miracles. Both Emi and Nagaru are impressed, understanding the wisdom behind her words. Suddenly remembering that her online order for the Everyday Prince Fluffy Room DIY kit has arrived, Emi waves excitedly and dashes off, apologizing as she leaves. She calls back from behind, but it's too late. She's already gone. Holding her bag, she reassures Sensei that she has an important task at home. Rin watches her go, gently advising not to overwork herself in school or at her part-time job. Emi, slightly embarrassed, smiles brightly and assures her that love gives her strength. Sensei hands her a mandarin as a parting gift, and Emi gratefully accepts it. Later, sitting alone, Sensei sips her cider as her phone rings. The caller formally requests a meeting, but she smiles and tells him not to be so formal. She prefers to call him Quan Ryu Yusi. The next day, Emi's heart races. She hesitantly admits her feelings to UCI, nerves tangled and unsure. But when he says he only sees her as a friend, panic sets in. She falls off the bed in shock, only realizing moments later it was all a dream. That night, at her part-time job, she laughs at herself for dreaming of him. Watching her colleagues notice her passion, she recalls UCI telling her that he enjoys her company as a friend. Even in her dream, she imagined his resolve, but now reality hits. She wants more than friendship. Suddenly, the door opens. Could it be another dream coming true? Her heart leaps when she sees him. Flustered, she greets him briefly and quickly retreats, trying to compose herself. She seeks out Lulu Taya, clutching her hands and asking for help to treat Yusei without revealing her own feelings. Lulu nods eagerly, welcoming him again. Emi steadies herself, nervous about hiding her emotions. But when she steps forward to serve him, she's shocked. He's already gone. Frustration and self-reproach wash over her. Falling in love, she realizes, has made her act foolishly. Suddenly, Lulu sneaks up behind her, suggesting she fetch the first aid kit. Emi agrees, confused, but Lulu's calm demeanor reassures her. Opening the door, she is startled to find Yusei inside.